This is the last edition of Business right here on PM News. Good afternoon to you and welcome. Sasol has been granted permission by the courts to distribute notice of its annual general meeting to shareholders through means other than registered mail because it believes the South African Post Office will not be able to deliver in time for the company's AGM next month. Sasol, whose Black Economic Empowerment Scheme in Zalo has 149,000 shareholders, approached the High Court in Johannesburg on Friday seeking the power to use a combination of text messages, web and social media communications, published notices in newspapers, radio adverts, and a stock exchange news services announcement to inform all shareholders of the AGM instead of relying on the post office. The application was authorized. The post office's operations have been disrupted due to continuing strikes, which have been characterized by vandalism and intimidation of employees attempting to go to work. Now, for more on this story, we are joined on the line by Alex Anderson, who is the spokesperson for Sasol. Thank you very much for joining us and welcome.
Thanks. Good to be with you, Colin.
Why did Sasol need a court decision for it to use alternative service providers?
Well, as you mentioned, Sasol is currently preparing for the annual general meeting of Sasol and Zalo Public Limited. And all companies, listed companies, are required to inform shareholders of the annual general meeting, as well as submit and post the annual report, as well as the proxy form for shareholders to fill in. Now, it's essential that shareholders receive this documentation in time ahead of the AGM so that the actual AGM can be convened. Now, given the challenges with delivery through postal services, we had to consider options because we could not ultimately guarantee that our shareholders would receive this documentation. So essentially what we've done is we approached the court to obtain authority to make use of alternative means of delivery. Now, the Companies Act actually provides for this. So in the Act, you're allowed to seek this authority to apply for options or alternative options, but you need the court's permission to do so. So this is what we've done. And in doing so, you then submit in your application the options and the alternative measures that you would take to ensure that shareholders are adequately informed.
So how has business been affected by the post office strike since it started? It looks like you've been having a problem with communicating with your clients.
Well, in this case, it's our shareholders. It is a potential problem. Really, the priority is to ensure that we're compliant. Sasol takes compliance very seriously across the board, and it's ingrained within our business. So, whatever we do will ensure that we are compliant. But over and above that, it's more than just submitting the documentation to the post office and receiving a stamp. We have to make sure that we do that and ensure that our shareholders physically have access to this documentation. So we are using a combination of channels and options, specifically our website, social media. We are going to be undertaking a bulk SMS to all our Zalo public shareholders. We're going to publish it in the newspaper. And as I said, through social media, we'll have frequent posts on the official Twitter handle to ensure that shareholders are aware that the AGM is on the 15th of November at Wits Great Hall in Johannesburg, as well as direct them to the website where they can receive it.
All right, Alex, thank you very much for talking to us. Mr. Anderson is the spokesperson for Sasol.